Sometimes businesses need an honest opinion about how they're doing. Every business needs to be considered as to how it's viewed from the perspective of its customer. So here's my question to you. Are you brave enough to have your website and your business reviewed by me? Well, today we're going to look at a pressure washing company and cleaning company that have been prepared to do that. I'm going to look at seeing what they're doing well, and I'm going to see if I can find 5 things that they could improve on to benefit their business. I'm Zane from Zanet Design, and I use my 20 years of experience to try and help build up smaller businesses so they can improve and gain traction on the web. Now today I'm going to look at a company that's asked me to review their website, and using the free review criticism or critique that I give, they're going to be prepared to look at some things they need to improve on. But as we go through these things together, you can see whether there's things there that you can learn for your business too, and that you can apply for your business. We're going to look at SEO, look at Google My Business, we'll look at the website speed, we'll look at whether images are loading correctly, we'll look at ways in which it can be improved for a mobile, whether the branding is correct, whether navigation works. In fact, we're going to absolutely look at all the things within about 20 minutes to see what could this website do to improve. And can I continue to fulfill my challenge of finding 5 things that it needed to work on? So thanks for joining me. Let's now look at all exterior services.
So all exterior services is what we're looking at today, and let's just pick out a few things that first of all stand out. I mean, that's great to see out van, so that shows again a really good quality image there, and also of this gutter cleaning. So the first question obviously is, when I've come to your website, do I know exactly what you do? And these scrolling images certainly give me clear indication of the type of service I can expect. So I can see you do commercial, you do businesses, you do gutters, you do local, you can do roof cleaning, gutter cleaning, pressure washing. All those things come out right from the start. So without a doubt, that's a good start on the website. Also at the top, you've got here the free quote, which again is appealing, and you've got a strong image with a logo, so that and that's consistent really throughout this you've got this blue being used throughout as well. So there's some real positives there initially, and so certainly my first reaction to this website is it looks pretty good, it looks professional, and it has quite a lot of ways in which it wants me to call you. We've got the video as well, so there's kind of a good mixture of different medias here as well. So let's just look at a few other things as well. I just checked to see if it's mobile friendly, which it says it is, which is good. There's a few little issues here loading. I noticed there's an image not loading here when I just checked it. But again, those are things that are quite minimal really, things that could be fixed quite quickly. And when I also looked at the actual listing, so I put in to Google pressure washing service Portland, Oregon, and you came up there, and obviously you did well. And I think without a doubt, you've got a lot of reviews coming through, 5-star reviews, 80 of them. So one of the things that Google says is they say that they prefer less than 5.0. They like about 4.5, 4.7. So only reason being is that they don't believe that everyone puts a 5.0. So it's kind of one of those things that if you do get a poor review, then that's not the end of the world, but you've got excellent reviews. And when I looked at your reviews as well, I think I saw them down here, you respond to them as well straight away. So when they write a review in a positive way, you respond well. And that's good as well. So again, looking through there, and if you do ever get a negative review, it's still good to be positive in your response and say you want to fix things. But in your case, they're all very positive reviews. You've got 1.4 actually, which is good, because that will just keep the average as a sensible level as well. So I think that's not a bad thing actually. You've been adding photos, and that's good as well to see, and also you've answered some questions. So lots of positive things here. You've got your request a quote button, which means you've got your app downloaded. Obviously a lot of these things I've covered in some of my tutorials on YouTube, so if you're not sure of those things, then check those out in my tips and tricks that I've got. Some good photos. You've added news 3 days ago, 13 hours ago you've updated a photo. So again, I can just see that you're doing all the right things that will help keep your listing high up the rankings, and so that's always good to see as well. Okay, but the idea, as always with these, is for me to find 5 things about the website and about your business that are going to help improve it, and that's always a challenge, but I did find a few things. So one of the things that stood out for me straight away was the quality of the images on the banner. Now these ones are particularly good, but like this image here, I think it'd be well worth redoing. Basically, you've kind of only got a small image. I think you use this on one of the other pages as well. So I can understand why you've used it, because it's quite effective. But the before and after picture would be better if it was in line with all the others. So it kind of just looks a little bit out of place compared to those other ones. These ones looked, I mean, that's a really good picture. I think I would just stick to 3 or 4 of those and not have that, or have that redone as an image. So a graphic designer can do that for you if not. And again, with this one, a nice image, and I like it, except if you notice it's very grainy, and there's a reason for that, because what's happened here is you've saved this as a PNG, and this should be a JPEG. So you'll notice that basically you've used the wrong format, and what that's done is it's caused this kind of really poor dotty look, and that's a shame because it's a nice picture and that just doesn't really add anything to your situation. So yeah, so I would say you need to make sure these are nice high quality JPEGs. You've got it the same here as well. This is a PNG, and I think I actually proved it's a PNG. I actually brought, there you go. So if you look, that's your file, and it's called 130 blah 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 .png, and that is a PNG, and that's where you got these dots. That should be a JPEG. So hopefully you can get those original images, redo them as JPEGs, upload them, and actually you'll find also they'll load a lot faster. You'll be slowing your machine down if you have the wrong images as well. So that would be my first thing, is to really improve the banner quality. I noticed also that before and after, let's just go back to that, because I just felt that, I don't know if this is a second thing to perhaps consider or not, but I noticed this here. If I click on learn more, what I would do here, this is a much, that's a better picture anyway. This is a really good way of showing people the difference, and I think you've got quite a few of these types of photos. There you go, you've got another one here as well. These are really good photos, but you know what I would do is, even though that effect works well, there's some really good packages you can get. I use this on one of my web designs I did recently for this guy here, Dorset House Clearance, and this is just a very basic site that I put together for him to show some of the house clearances he does and so on. So it is a basic site, but what I will say is I use this facility here. So basically he unclutters people's houses. So this was a kitchen before, and this is then the after result, but that's a nice kind of effect. You can see it again on here, so that's before and after. And I mean, his photography wasn't in the exact spot, which was a shame, because if you can get the exact spot as well, it has a really good effect. And again, we've got it here, so there it is before the shed and then after the shed, after he's been. Those types of things I think are kind of quite useful, and they're quite easy to implement as well, so it might be something to consider. So I just kind of thought that might work quite well on this type of thing, because you've got the exact shots, and that would really have quite an effect when people use that, and it has a bit of a novelty factor as well. Just the other thing is, notice that your Facebook link here isn't working. So not that that's a big deal. It is working on your homepage, but for some reason on your other pages it isn't. So you just might want to make sure that that's up and working. And just another thing as well I noticed was you're using a Gmail account, and there's nothing wrong with Gmail. I use Gmail quite often, but as a professional, that would be better, Bob at All Exterior Services or info at All Exterior Services. You've got the domain name, so why not then just make a professional email and use that instead. That does make a bit of a difference. You can then forward it through to your Gmail account and collect it there anyway. So it's just a couple of little tweaks there. So that would be, those are just all little things I noticed. But the big thing would be the quality of the image that's being used on your banner is a wrong type of image altogether. That will really save download time. The second thing is I just felt there was a bit of an inconsistency on the menu. So what you've done is you've got a huge logo here, which then shrinks down to nothing, and then you've then got your standard menu. So you've got 3, 6, 7, 8 items in this menu, and yet when I go to the main page, for the sake of the logo, you've only got 4, and then you have to drill down to get the other things. That's really just not... I mean, I studied usability for quite a few years on websites, and I've given quite a lot of consultation about usability. I just don't think that's ideal. What I would do is I would shrink down the logo and then make sure these all fit and have them kind of work that way. I know on a mobile that works fine, and so on, but I would probably try and keep the logo and just shrink it down to a more sensible size, and have it like this with the logo here. So that would be my kind of what I would go for, and then have these perhaps less space in between them, maybe less boldness, maybe cut down, call it service rather than service details, have perhaps cleaning rather than gutter cleaning, or just washing, or I mean you could possibly readjust these to lose one or two. Have the gallery perhaps inside each of these main headings, like a residential gallery and a commercial, have a drop down. There's lots of ways to do it, but I think to go from 4 to that to 7 or 8 and then not have the logo when you could have the logo. I mean, I don't know what I did here. So here we've got 5 items and a logo, and then we go 5 items and a logo, but the logo is now cut down in size. So that would be probably my recommendation on there, is just relook at fitting the menu correctly. Now let's go back to the whole purpose is you want people to pick up the phone, which is great, or you want them to fill out for a free quote. And the free quote is really important, and you've got some great things here. But what I will say is, when people start filling out their name, they've got to give their first name and their last name, their email address, phone number, their full address on line 1, their city, their state, their zip code. Then they've got to fill out the select services, and then they've got to write a comment. You could just argue that there is so many loops to go through to even get a submission, because if I click that, there's all these things in red that I've got to do, that you could potentially be losing clients or potential clients where they actually start filling it in and they just can't be bothered to get all the way through the end, or they filled it all in and they forgot one thing, like they didn't, for instance, make a comment, or they've got nothing to say, or they forgot to add their first line of the address or something like that. And what happens in the end is they press submit, they can't be bothered, and then you've lost their customer. What I would do is, why not either simplify the form down to just a couple of things that you need, just a name and an email, or a name and a phone number, and then you give them a call, or you can email them and just say, right, okay, you're interested, what can I, how can you contact me about, what would you like me to do, or how would you like a particular service. You could have this form on the contact page in detail, so you could have it where they go there, and you've got it there anyway, which is really good. And it's good that you've got the maps and all these other stuff here. So there's no harm in having this on the contact page, but on the home page, I would just have it where they can just fill out a couple of things, 2 or 3 parts of the form, just so you're not losing those ones that want to make contact but they don't want to fill out all the details. Even if you took off all of these red where you've got to make a comment, you've got to select a service, you've got to have a first line of address, and just cut them down to even just one name or out the 2, or one email address and phone number, that would help as well. But I think you may be losing customers that just after making some effort to fill it out, they can't be bothered to fill it all out. So that would be my suggestion, is to just cut down on the form a little bit, make it a bit more user friendly, and you may get more clients filling it out. Let's take the fourth one. The fourth one's based on, so sometimes when I look at websites, I kind of run some tests. I looked at your map as well, that's very good. And there's some really good things here. The fact you've got so many reviews means that people can then do they can check to see how driveways are covered in your reviews. I mean, this is good because you've got so many reviews. Then you get a really good, rich amount of information here. So this is exceptionally good in what you've done, and there's so many good things on your Google My Business, so I'm not going to go there. What I did notice though, when I ran some speed tests on your website, so this was a speed test I ran, and basically it's okay. I mean 70% is okay, but you get an idea that there's no caching involved at all on the website, and I think that's because you're just using a standard HTML website. So if you use like content management systems like a CMS for like WordPress, that tends to enable you to have better caching. You probably can leverage your caching by adding some extra script to that, and also the JavaScript again. These are things that are kind of slowing it down. When I look at this here as well, we can just see there's quite a few little things that could be done. So these F's are things that really need to have attention to. So something you may want to look at. But I mean, it still loads pretty fast. 3.9 seconds is pretty reasonable with 100 requests. What I would say though is I think the images is going to be a real gain. If you look here, these are the images that you've got for your banner, and they do take up a lot of time because they're large images and the quality's not there. I mean, that would be if you made them JPEGs, you would find that immediately will give you far better loading times as well. So if you change those to JPEGs and do it properly, that wouldn't take any time at all. If you need to know how to do that, or if you want me to do that, then you can contact me on my website zanet.co.uk, and we can arrange to get that sorted for you. But on the whole, that's one of the suggestions I'd have there. Just check your domain authority, which is it's growing because you've got some linking through, so that's good. So that everything's growing in the right direction for the website. I'm not sure how long it's been going for, but it appears to be good. So your fourth point I'd say was speed. So you can certainly improve the speed of your website, and this would be probably the fifth point. As with always, you've got 249 keywords. I think there's some keywords you could really do well in that you could perhaps focus on. I think looking at the website, you don't really have any kind of extra pages about blogging. Maybe you could have these as links to more landing pages, or they could link through to these pages, and then from there you could have more information. So you've got pretty good amount of information on here, but yeah, I would perhaps add a blog to this, which is one of the reasons why I pretty much use WordPress for all my clients, because it's got a great blogging facility built in. So keywords, I just noticed some of the keywords that you did pretty well in. You're getting a lot of results coming through on pressure wash Portland. So that's the keyword. If you type in pressure wash Portland, I think you do pretty good on that, if I remember rightly. So that would be something that I would perhaps consider writing an article on, linking through as well, and see how that goes. Let me just see if I've made a note of that. So if I type into Google, the trouble is I'm in England, so it could be different, but I think pressure wash Portland, you did pretty good. There you go. So you're coming out there about 7th in the world as far as I'm concerned, which is pretty good because that's my local to me. But of course, you're coming out really well there. So that shows that Google really knows that's what you're doing, pressure washing service in Portland. So that's superb. If you were coming out number one on that, so just did a bit of research, if you're coming out number one on that search term, you'd be getting about 2,400 visits a month. At the moment, you're getting probably about 60, 70 from that keyword. So I would really concentrate on writing articles about pressure wash Portland. If you're into SEO, you'll know what I'm talking about, where you use that. If you've got a Yoast plugin, or if you had WordPress, you could really focus on that keyword. So you're doing really well at that, but you're about 7th in the world. The other one that's going to bring in real loads and loads of traffic is something like house washing as well. So if you had house washing Portland or house washing, I noticed one of the keywords you're being found for number 17 in the world is house washing near me. So people are finding you using house washing near me. So you must talk about that as well. You're coming 17th at the moment. If you were to tap into that, there's about 6,500 people looking for that each month. So other ones you're doing well at, house washing Portland, which we mentioned, Portland power washing, All exterior services, people are looking for that. You come number 1 for that. There's about 40 people each month looking for that. Pressure washing, Portland, Oregon. I think that's what I looked and found you on. Exterior cleaning, Portland, or commercial pressure washing, Portland, Oregon. So it seems to me you've got a really good website. You're doing well. You've got lots and lots of positives. There are keywords that could really be focused on if you were blogging or writing news articles. But hopefully that's given you plenty to go on, and that's been a review that's going to be useful for you. As always with my reviews, I always say this, it's a critique. So the idea is to find things that are wrong, not to just say everything's good. So it's there to benefit you. You're gaining 20 odd years of my experience as a web designer. If there's things that you need or that you want me to do, then I can obviously do that. I can produce the results for you, but the idea is you can enjoy really either learning these skills and then applying them to your business, or making some of the changes that I've suggested and benefiting from them. But hopefully that's been useful. If anyone else wants a website review, then they can comment below, or they can contact me via my website at zanet.co.uk. Thanks for watching.